Hey guys, welcome to Heart to Talk, the podcast. I am your host, Teresa Caesar, and you are tuned in to episode 20. Color is the place where our brain and the universe meet. Paul Klee. When it comes to healthy living, most people focus on nutrition, exercise, meditation, therapy, you name it. Those are all extremely important. But equally important is your physical space and environment. Our environment and home impacts the way we think, feel, and behave. One component in our environment is color. Color impacts our mind and body. When we use them consciously, we can actually influence and enhance the psychology of our space. And this will improve your well-being, health, and happiness in so many ways. Here to talk all about that is Mehnaz Khan. She is an artist and color psychology specialist for home interiors. She helps women create restful and stress-free homes by using the power of colors so that they can enhance their productivity, sleep better, and cope with everyday anxiety. Mehnaz will also tell her story of how colors transformed her life and lifted her out of seasonal depression. I bring to you my conversation with the artist and color psychologist.
I'm an artist and color psychology specialist, and also at the moment I'm working on my interior design certification. So, what is color psychology? I think we should talk about that first.
Yes.
I help women, amazing women just like yourself, create restful and stress-free home. So you can boost your productivity, you can enhance the quality of your sleep and cope up with everyday anxiety. And the tool we use to do that is color and design. So basically, we use the principles of color psychology.
That is incredible. So, what are the biggest things you see that are affecting people's rest and anxiety levels in regards to color?
I love that question, Teresa. So the biggest issue is that we have been trained ever since we were little kids. We've been taught this, or that's just the perception we picked up from the society, that colors are just about looks. It's just a visual stimuli. And that's where the problem is. Colors are not just a visual stimuli. In fact, they they manifest the survival mechanism for everyday life. And, let that sink in. They manifest the survival mechanism for everyday life. And all you got to do is just imagine you're living in a colorless world. It's all colorless, just black and white. And instantly you'll be like, oh my God, how important colors are in my everyday life. That first cup of coffee, you can just look at the color and you know how much creamer you want to put in. So my husband likes his coffee a little darker, so it's less creamer. Mine is lighter. I have more creamer. Just by looking at it, instantly you made a decision. Now let's see, if we were in a colorless world, we would be measuring every teaspoon of creamer. And life would just slow down. So all the things we're capable of doing today would be impossible. At the same time, it would be dangerous because now we don't have the colors to differentiate between so many things. You look at that buzzy bee, which is yellow and black, and you can tell the difference between this one is dangerous and the other bee is not dangerous. Or when your food goes bad in the refrigerator, the color changes. It turns blue basically. So you know that it's bad, you have to throw it. You're not tasting it. And you see, if you didn't have those colors, how would we differentiate? So it just makes the world safe for us. It helps us make a simple decision making. And it's just a very powerful mechanism created by Mother Nature.
That is fascinating. I never even thought of it that way. Also, can you talk to us about color and trends? Just from the people listening, really take color in consideration when it comes to trends. And of course, when people want to get deeper, they can work with you. And we're going to give you Mehnaz's information for sure in the show notes. But can you talk to us
Of
about
course.
that?
Yeah. So I am not at all about trends. Okay. So here's why. We need to understand that every color is equal to an emotion. Okay. A simple fact, the color is equal to an emotion. And let's go back a little bit. It's because of the way the color is processed in our brain every time, the part of our brain which processes the color. So color is not the property of the object. The object, so we're on a podcast, so you guys can see this. I'm holding a green pen, and green is not the property of this object. This object, the pen, reflects light into my eye. or into Teresa's eye, because Teresa can see this too.
I can see.
So, and our brain computes that light and triggers and interprets it as a certain color. So when this color is interpreted, something else also happens in our part of the brain. It triggers emotions, feelings, behaviors. Our entire endocrine system is impacted by it. So when we understand this, that color is doing something at a psychological and emotional level, and come out of the fact that it's just about looks, so that's very powerful. So like I was saying, color is equal to an emotion. Now, think about vitamins. We all know vitamins are so important for the human body, but do I come in and say, like, Teresa, vitamin K is the latest trend, you should try it? And you'll be like, crazy woman, I'm not going to try vitamin K because it's the trend. Or I'm like, oh, I'm inspiring you to try vitamin E. You wouldn't do that, right? Because you understand that all vitamins are important. Your body has a specific need, and you're going to take what your body needs, not what I'm taking. And how much is going to depend on your body. The same rule applies for colors. Every color is equal to an emotion. They support color supporters emotionally and psychologically. So you got to understand, what color do you need? What emotion do you need to be supported? And then you're going to bring in the color. And this is why trends fail.
That's incredible example, because I know like right now the trend is grays. So I am drawn to it because I'm like, oh, that's what everybody is buying. So I was obviously inspired to make my room all gray. And so
Yeah.
what do you think about that? What does that do
That's
to
a very
someone?
innocent poll, you know. My aunt also, like a few months ago, she was like, I'm changing my kitchen after 35 years. And of course, like, she's not, a kitchen is a big expense. So apparently she's never going to do it again in her life. And she's like, I went for a blue kitchen counter and blue cabinets. And I was like, what? And she's like, she very innocently said, like, oh, that's the latest trend. Everybody else is doing it. I was like, yes, that's the problem. So my question is, Teresa, do you drink Coca-Cola? Do you think soda and all those
I
products,
I don't.
right?
Yeah.
Because you understand that it's not good for your body, but everybody else is doing it. But you educated yourself on it, right? Because this is it's that kind of norm, because everybody else is doing it, so we'll just follow it. We don't question it. We don't try to understand what's behind it. But you know, when I tell my children we should not drink Coke, it's not good for your body, and they give me this look like everybody else is drinking Coke, and you're telling us not to. What do you mean? You know, everyone else is doing it. It might be the thing to do it. The same goes for these trends. So everybody else is doing it, and we're like, okay, if people are doing it, it might be the right thing to do it. But if you come to study and what's lying underneath, then this is what we're talking about today.
Yeah. And so so gray, every color equals an emotion. What kind of emotion does gray equal for
How do you
people?
feel on a gloomy gray day when the sun is not shining? It's all cloudy. It's raining for a few days in a row.
That makes a lot of sense. So that could really affect your how you feel and your emotional state subconsciously without even knowing.
Absolutely. That's the whole thing about colors, that they impact you on a subconscious level. And this is why they're overpowering anything that's conscious, because 97% of the decisions we make are at a subconscious level. So only 3% of decisions are conscious.
I love it. So when I think of me and my color desires subconsciously, I love wearing black. Like I have black on right now. I'm like very proud of it. Like I love black. I know people say it's slimming, but I don't know why I'm drawn to black. So do you have anything to say in regards to all of us, especially a lot of women, in wanting to
Yeah.
wear black? Uh-huh.
So there are a lot of things. Every color has its negative impacts as well as its positive impacts, except for gray. So just like anything you do too much, the negative impacts come out. You know, even the food, the best food we eat, your baby really needs milk, but if you start giving the baby too much milk, you're going to see negative impacts. So the same goes for colors. Anything too much, the negative impacts come out. So there are a lot of things with black. Now, black is slimming is a myth. It's not really slimming. And anybody can do this experiment at home. Take two objects, same objects, one in white and one in black. You will notice that black has more visual weight. It looks heavier. And that is because black is all absorption of light. So when you're wearing black, the idea that it's slimming, it's not really slimming. It's actually adding to the visual weight. But if a slim person is wearing it, they're going to look slim. What it's doing is something to you at a psychological level, that it's not grabbing attention. So it's all absorption of light. So it's not reflecting any light. So it's not grabbing attention. So you feel like you're secure, you're not being seen, and you're hiding. So that's one impact. On the other hand, you come out as authoritative when you're wearing black. So it could be that that's really like, I know my topic, I'm confident, and I'm authoritative. And also about that little black dress, like so many people say that black is classic. That is true. Black is classic. The question is, does it look classic on you? So that's what you have to identify.
Ooh.
Also, I'll just add to this, like black in your space. Again, proportion is key. How much black are you using in your interiors? Is it just a rug? Is it just a couch? Is it just accessories? Or are you painting your entire bedroom black? So again, if you're painting your bedroom black, just remember it's going to be all absorption of light. So eventually it's going to be, yeah, initially it looks like, ooh, it's chic and modern and sophisticated. But psychologically, it's going to be very suppressive and oppressive.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. And I liked what you talked about the little black dress, and is black for you or not, just because everyone else is doing it, right? We all want to jump on the same ship. And I like what you said too about black can be the positive or the negative, and it's all about, I guess, you, what you're bringing to it. Like, so for me, sometimes I want to go to work in my black pencil skirt and black, but then maybe sometimes when I'm not feeling well, I'll wear black because maybe I do want to be hidden. I don't want to be seen.
That's so true. That's so true. See, me also in my everyday life, and you will notice, you'll start noticing people like, what is their black saying today about them? So I wear black, but I kind of stopped wearing a lot of black because I talk about the stuff, so it becomes very, people start judging me. But I wear black in my everyday mom life, and I've not showered in a few days, and my hair is messy, and I'm picking up kids from school, and I don't want to be seen. So I literally have this, I don't want to be seen, I'm not dressed up. But when I want to be seen, I'm not going to wear black. I want to be seen. I want people to notice me. And then so it's going to be a bold or a color that's more noticeable.
I love that. I know that you do color with home. Is there a specific color you should wear if you are going to presenting, or specific things that you're doing and wearing a color to empower you in those moments?
Yes, yes. So if you're going for a job interview, you have to see, are they that open minded? Are they ready to accept it? So there are going to be several factors. And then what are you trying to communicate to them? So that's going to be the number one factor. If they're very conservative, it's a very formal environment, they might not accept too much of a color. But if it's more of a creative environment and you're ready to show your personality, then do wear that color. But it's empowering. It's really empowering, and how you want to be seen. You want to be seen confidently, or you want to be seen authoritatively. So there's several factors that are going to depend.
I want to ask you, how did you get into color psychology? I know you said you were an artist. Tell me about that, because I had never heard of it until I met you, and I'm so honored. Obviously, we get to teach together. We both teach on
Yeah,
Captivate, but it was really cool to learn about what you do. It's impacted my life and the way I see color. But I'm just curious.
so grateful for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a long story, and honestly, even I didn't hear about it before I really got into this stuff. So I'm gonna go back in time, a little over 13 years, when my first one was born. We had an arranged marriage, so we were just newly married, and then we were expecting the baby. We lived in Buffalo, New York, which is like horrible weather. 8 months out of the year, it's cold, it's gloomy, and I had decided to give up my career, so I wanted to be a stay-home mom, and a lot of things were going on. So there was this factor of low esteem also. So I became really depressed. The baby blues, seasonal depression, everything was a big mix. So fast forward to a few years, not few years, 8 years after, I came across this, somewhere I read that it's actually the third part of the law of attraction. We talk about mindset, and we talk about destiny all the time, two really important parts of the law of attraction. But the third part is that if your environment is not in alignment with what you want, your subconscious mind, your internal desire, the shift does not happen. And for instance, I wanted to be this happy mom, the best mom. I wanted to be always happy and do things for my baby. But my environment was sending a completely different message. There was so much snow and gloomy outside, and it's depressing and it's dull, it's boring. So my subconscious mind is encountering like it's not in alignment. We're not on the same page. What's going on? So the shift doesn't happen. So that's the first thing that I learned. And this is a huge part of my framework that your environment impacts behavior. And then I started noticing this in my own environment. And also, I want to say that I'm very sensitive to my environment, and intuitively, also, I have this more intuitive in this sense. But that's how I started picking all of this. And then I paint also. So I knew the colors were doing something, and that colors impacted mood is a common thing that people know. But the mood is a very surface level analysis. They do way more. They impact our behaviors and our feelings and our thoughts. So then I started researching. Then I did a certification in color psychology and then environment. So I was able to create my own framework where environment is a huge part of it, color is a huge part of it, and the third part is the subconscious mind.
That's incredible. So you were kind of like your first, I guess, client yourself. Would you call that?
Yes. So I remember once you said this, that you are the testimonial yourself because you've experimented, you've tried it on yourself. And yes, I've done exactly the same. And for me, it has done wonders, Teresa. I'm going to share this here. At one point, seasonal depression and all of these things were just too much pressure with my husband's job. My husband's a physician, so he works crazy hours, the cold weather, three kids, all of this became too much. And at one point, my doctor put me on antidepressants, and she said, this was the best thing. And I gave in, and I was like, okay, maybe this is the best thing for me. I should go on antidepressants. And I did for one whole week, and it was the worst decision of my life. Now, I'm not saying that pharmaceutical medicine is wrong, or if you are depressed, as in a mental illness, you should definitely go see a doctor. You should definitely get the medicines, but it's not for everyone. In my case, it was the worst decision. I was in bed for a whole week, like literally, and my kids were really young. My youngest was really young. I couldn't take care of my kids. It just drained me completely. It was bad. My mom had to come over. She stayed with us. She and my husband took care of the kids, and I realized like this was going to destroy my life. It's going to impact my relationship with my spouse. And I made this decision that I'm never not going to take this drug, and I'm going to do it with willpower and motivation. And then thankfully, God just helped me, and I came across this, the environment impacts behavior. I started studying all this stuff. So that helped me. But all I want to say is that antidepressants are not always an option for everyone. So there are alternative ways. My husband is a physician. I totally believe in pharmaceutical medicine, but sometimes it's not an option. And I'm someone who's extremely sensitive to drugs. Like I cannot even take the Tylenol. So when you are in a situation like this, you've got to find out other ways. And this worked wonders for me. And environment is a big thing. Even like I see so many people on social media sharing their spaces and talking about their anxiety and feeling depressed and stressed out. And when you look at their spaces, you can instantly tell where it's coming from.
I love that you said that, because one thing we've talked about too when we've gone on lives and within Captivate is you can meditate, eat right, do all the things, the mindset. But you've mentioned that if your environment, are there still maybe colors that don't serve you, you don't have the right balance, it doesn't matter if you do all that stuff. Can you talk about
So
that?
important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So eating healthy, um, exercise, meditation, yoga, journaling, all of that stuff is essential, but it's one part of living healthy. There's a whole other part of living healthy, and that's your environment. And going back to what I said initially, everything in your environment is data for the subconscious mind. So you're trying to do this stuff, but you haven't fixed the environment. And a simple example to understand is people say eating healthy is so hard. It's such a hard thing to do. It is hard when your pantry is stocked with junk food. You did not create the environment to eat healthy.
Mm.
So the environment is not in alignment with the behavior you want. And then what you do is, like initially when I started doing this, I was using willpower and motivation. There is so much and so far willpower and motivation will take you. And then after sometimes we all relapse, right? The data shows us that 3 weeks is the time period. And even in the starting of the new year, after 3 weeks, everybody else is back to point zero because they were using willpower and motivation. Instead, use your environment. Your environment is your extrinsic motivator. So you create that environment that automatically it makes you, because it's working internally, it's sending that message internally. So automatically your behavior changes, your emotion changes. Also, another example to understand this is let's say take roses from a rose garden. Okay, so there's this gardener or farmers. They have all the tools. They're extremely educated. They know how to grow the best crops. You take those crops and you go put them in the desert. ask the farmer to grow the roses in the desert. It's not going to work. And then you'll be like, you're the best farmer in the country. You have all the education and you're so smart. Why isn't it working? Well, because the environment is not the right environment for the plant to grow. So environment for animals, for plants, for us, it's the same.
You have helped me really analyze my environment through visualization. Do you want to tell us like a quick little way we can do that?
Right. So, like I was saying for myself also, when I had my baby and we lived in Buffalo, New York, I wanted to be this happy, joyful mom, really active. But my environment was all gloomy, depressing. It was white outside. The world is literally white when you live right next to Niagara Falls. And inside also it was white. So it wasn't communicating that vibrancy. So a simple question you can ask yourself is that where you want to be, like I wanted to be this happy person, is your environment reflecting that? If you are trying to be the CEO, is your environment reflecting that when you are the CEO, the higher version of yourself? Is your environment reflecting that? So just ask that simple question and you will get the answer. Oh my God. Most people, just like you said, it was like, oh my God, it's not reflecting that higher version of myself. And then we apply the be, do, have concept. You have to have that environment. It's not like when you will be the CEO, then you will create the environment. You want to have that environment. And then, like I was saying, the environment is going to automatically send that message, especially the colors. They're so important because they're integrated inside the brain. They create those emotions and feelings and thoughts and behaviors and a lot more things. So automatically, they're going to help you make that shift. We're always trying to push from inside, like, I have to be happy, I have to be happy. And we're using, again, willpower to do that. Instead, use your environment. It's like setting up your environment and automation. So when you are in that room, it's just sending that message to the brain. So you don't have to work from inside.
I love that. And the great way to do it, y'all, is visualization. Like close your eyes and see yourself. I am the entrepreneur, Teresa. And what does she do? How and what does her space look like? Right. And I look at my space now, what parts am I missing? And I know for me, it's like getting this chair I've always wanted and getting certain pieces of art, being organized. So having like systems, behaviors, right, in place to become that version of me. And I like what you said. It's like be it now, and then it comes into
Yes.
your reality, right? I love that exercise, the visualization. We both have in common. We were our own testimony. We are heart-centered entrepreneurs here to teach others. Do you feel like you have found your purpose?
Yes, definitely. I was just talking to somebody this morning, and this guy went to college with me. We did our masters together. So, and he was like, I'm happy for you. But at the same time, I'm like, why didn't you use your masters? I did my MS in computer science. And that's what he was talking about. I did my BS in computer science, then I did my MS in computer science, and I have an MBA also. And today I'm doing something completely
Wow.
opposite. So it comes from the heart centered, like you were saying, it comes from inside, and it's all about passion. And it's actually about helping others and making their lives easier. So that's what fulfills me. Yeah.
I love that you said that because a lot of people get tied to, I've invested this time in this career, but it's never too late. I think it's good to really see what lights you up, what comes to you naturally, what talents you already have, and figure a
Yeah,
way of how to create. And naturally, if you just love what you're doing, love is like the key word. It's the highest vibration. It's going to help somebody without you even realizing it. You know,
that's true.
Elizabeth Gilbert, she wrote Eat, Pray, Love. When she wrote this book, she's like, I was a mess. I wasn't writing it because like this book is going to help people. So the point is when we do what we love, it automatically just helps people because we're loving it.
That's true. I'll just say, like my friend was saying this morning, it's never gone wasted that I've invested all these years and time in it. This is why, because of that, I went through that. I'm able to do this today. Otherwise, I don't think I would be able to. So it never gets wasted and there is no regret.
Yes, I love what you do. And again, I'm so grateful to know you and I get to work with you. I'm going to ask you these ending questions to close up the episode. So the first one, and Manaz, what is the best advice you have to offer?
Yes, I love this question. So, my advice is obviously going to be related to colors. This is one part in your life I'm going to suggest do not try to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to think outside of the box. And it's a really big thing from somebody who has an IT background, coming from IT. IT is all about innovation, thinking out of the box. So we're so used to thinking that way and doing everything that way. But for colors, I say do not do that. Mother Nature is the best creator of all the color palettes, of all the art, and nature has already done that for you. When we try to go against nature and create things, that's when we cause ourselves anxiety. I'll add one example. Blue does not exist in food in nature. So nature in the universe has created blue as a sign that food has gone bad. So leave some meat in the refrigerator for a week or so, and eventually you'll see that it's turned blue. And that's a sign like it's bad, it's poisonous now, you throw it out. So nature has created that. Now, what we're doing, we're trying to be very innovative, thinking outside of the box, and we're creating a blue food. So we started with candies and drinks and icings, and now people are adding blue into pancakes and everything. They're turning everything blue, and it's just like being innovative. And what's happening is, I'm sure you can tell, Teresa, so many people tell me all the time, it's like it's not appetizing, I don't feel like eating. That's just our subconscious brain's way, the safety part of our subconscious brain telling us like, stop, you can't eat that, it's poison. Are you crazy? You're trying to eat poison.
Wow.
So we feel all these feelings like it's not appetizing, but that's the way it's stopping us. And then we talk about there's so much anxiety in today's world. Why? Because we're trying to just go against nature, against the universe. So what universe has done is the best way and it's the right way. So especially in colors, don't do that, my friend.
It's simple but imperfect as is. I love that. So what are the colors of nature?
So just use them the way you see them in nature. Wherever you see green used, wherever you see blue used, blue. I'm not saying the blue, you don't use blue at all, but depends where. Don't use it in food. You see the sky, there's a different feeling. You see the clouds. And again, that's all reflection. They're not really blue. That's a reflection. So use color the way you see it in nature.
Oh,
All the color palettes are available in nature, honestly. You don't need anyone to tell you. They're in nature.
That's beautiful. All right, my second question for you. What is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote is by Nelson Mandela, and it always seems impossible until it's done. Really
Ooh.
simple, but it's really powerful.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I think we've all
Right?
felt that in this year.
Yeah.
How many things are we thought it was impossible, and then when it's done, ooh, I love
Yeah.
that.
Even in your career, like it was so impossible to start and get to this point. But
That's
yeah.
powerful. Oh my goodness. Love it. And then my last question, what is your favorite book?
I will share one of the current books that I'm reading is if you're an entrepreneur, you're really going to like this. And if you're somebody who loves strategy, you're going to love this book. And I think, Teresa, you're going to love it. It's by Chris Voss, and it's called Never Split the Difference. And even if you're not an entrepreneur, you're just going to love this book. Like, how do you talk and how do you negotiate? It's about that.
Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Mehnaz Khan. For more information, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or visit www.teresacaesar.com. Also, don't forget to rate, subscribe, and tell your friends all about this podcast. I'll be back in 2 weeks.